Today we're talking to St Albans City manager Ian Allinson at a somewhat wet Harden Hewish Park, where the Saints have drawn 3-3 with Chippenham Town in National League South. 3 times we had to come back from behind, Ian. A lot of managers would be happy to take a point with that, but is it 2 more points that have slipped away?
Yeah, I think we have to say that, David. We've not defended correctly in terms of where we started the game again. We spoke at length on Thursday night and again today about having to compete on set pieces and not so much the first ball, second ball. A lot of their strengths is about long throws and corners, and before we know where we are, 6 minutes gone, long throw flicked on and nobody goes with a runner, and we find ourselves 1-0 down. And it's tough because you have to go up the slope. We've got ourselves back in the game, got back to 1-1 with a good goal again from Zane, which again, we don't score poor goals, you have to score good goals. And then again, a free header. We didn't defend the first ball in the box. We were just a little bit, for me, a little bit weak. We give a corner away, which is a cheap corner. And again, 1 ball in the box and people aren't doing their jobs properly. And another free header and we find ourselves 2-1 down. But, you have to question people, and I questioned people at half time because I felt we're just a little bit too nice at the moment in certain situations, in certain areas, and I challenged the players second half, and I felt second half they're absolutely outstanding. And it's the frustration that I'm probably feeling at the moment, and probably supporters and the club in itself, because we have got some really, really good quality players at this football club, but we've also got to try and mix that with learning how to defend first and foremost, and then we go and let our quality come through. And second half, I think we showed that for more than 45 minutes. We moved the ball, we had chance after chance. Their keepers had to make saves. We've had ball go on the top of the net. We've scored a goal from Tavener from a header, and within 30 seconds again, 1 long throw. We don't defend it properly. We probably over panicked in terms of defending the long throw, and before we know where we are, we're 3-2 down. And then we have to go and score an absolute worldie from Reece to get us back in the game again at 3-3. And then we've had opportunities to go and win the game. And unfortunately, 1 or 2 maybe cynical tackles went on where I felt the referee could have dealt with that a little bit better than what he did, especially with the breakaway 3 versus 2. We go on and maybe scored a winner there. Unfortunately, the lads side Reece down. He's in there now having treatment, and the referee feels the yellow card's sufficient. And I've seen the whole season in terms of people doing that and picking up a red card. I'm not saying I want to see people pick up red cards, but some of the challenges that went on today were quite cynical. But that's us. We played some really good stuff second half and probably deserve to get a little bit more out of it.
In your summary of the goals there, 4 or 6 goals, as you say, came from set pieces, if you include throw-ins in that. And you mentioned Reece's goal at the end there. It was a magnificent goal, but the funny thing was, for about an hour ago, or an hour into the game, he'd hardly been in it. And then he comes up with a goal like that.
Well, I think that's Reece at the end of the day, and that's why he probably hasn't really gone on in his career, because he has spells where he goes very, very quiet, and then he has spells like he did in the last sort of 20-25 minutes today where he comes alive. And I know he did exactly the same last week against Welling, but that's what we have to try and nurture, that we can try and get out of him for 90 minutes. I mean, the first 45 minutes he was probably non-existent. He had 4 or 5 opportunities to attack down the right hand side, their left side, and we didn't get an end product. We didn't get a cross in the box. I don't think we even got a pass. He just miscontrolled the ball. But that's Reece Williams at the end of the day. We knew that when we brought him in. There will be spells in games where he becomes untouchable, and he was in the last 15-20 minutes today. As you see it, he started to move the ball quick. He started to put crosses in, and his goal was outstanding. It was an outstanding team move in fairness. And then, as I say, he breaks from their corner. He's breaking. He's clearing up. It's 3 against 2. And as I say, the challenge comes in, and you see the challenge, and if you watch it on the highlights, really, there was only one thing the player was trying to do, was to stop us going on and scoring the winner. And it's a shame, really, because we've had to go and dig really deep here today, because this isn't an easy place to come. We've had to go and defend against the long throws, the corners, and the way they play their system, which works for them. And I've got no qualms about that whatsoever. But I just felt, with some of the stuff we played in the second half, we did enough to go and win the game.
Zane Banton's goal outside the box, Reece's one we talked there was outside the box, and in that second half, when we did play a lot of good football in increasingly difficult circumstances, I just felt 1 or 2 times when we could have maybe had a shot from the edge of the box, a couple more, because we did test the keeper a few times, but it could have been a few more as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think David Nobles had a good shot. The keeper's actually got it at the second attempt. I think Souls has had one just go past the post. I know Mercer's headed one on top of the net, but it's been very, very difficult in terms of we don't score cheap goals. We actually don't get a little 5-yard, 6-yard tapping. Most of the goals, if you look at what we scored this year, have been very, very good goals from shots from a distance. So, we've got to keep working on it. As I said, Rome wasn't built in a day, and I keep saying that I really believe in that change room. I really believe in that squad. but we've got a lot of growing up to do, and we've got a lot of soul searching to do, because I just feel that the quality's there, but there's a little bit missing somewhere that's going to really take us on to the next level. And at the moment we haven't got it. Can I bring one or two players in that maybe we're going to give us that, or we might have to look at the areas where we're a little bit short today. Sean Lucian's not been fit from last week. We've still got Tom Gardner out with his hand, and we've lost obviously Harold with his foot. So 3 influential players today, and our bench was quite weak. But I do need to try and bring 1 or 2 players in just to give something slightly different in terms of being bigger and stronger and more powerful, because certainly going forward we have lots of quality. We have some really good players at this club, and the change room's a good changing room, but there's something just not quite right there at the moment in terms of having to do some of the ugly sides of the game, especially now the pitches are turning. We're going to have to go and dig in really deep and make sure that we keep clean sheets, which we're struggling to do at the moment, and take the chances when they come the other end, because again today we've probably created a good 8 or 9 chances, though we've taken 3. Some of the balls that was flashing across the face of the goal in the last 10 minutes, we should be scoring there, and I'm sure if it was in the other box, their 2 forwards would have scored goals today.
You went for 2 forwards from the kick-off, Sam Merson, Nathaniel Pinney. They maybe didn't link up quite as well as you would have liked. I guess you would have liked a bit more from that partnership.
Yeah, without a shadow of doubt, and this is what we spoke about last week. I just think sometimes we end up bypassing the midfield when we played 2 up front, and I think some of the link play we've had, certainly at home this season, has been very, very good when we've played the 3 in midfield. But again, it was Kieran probably still a little bit from fitness wise, so it was either throw him in with David and Sol and go with 1 up front. But I just wanted to try something a little bit different. I've been wanting to do it for a couple of weeks, as I said last week, and it didn't not work. It occupies their back 4, but also we've got to get certain areas we have to just go and work a little bit harder. If we're going to play 2 up front, we need to go and work harder in certain areas and certain situations, and make sure that we find space and find little holes where we can go and get people on the ball and cause them problems. Saying that, it wasn't the 2 forwards' fault today. Why we drew 3-3, we haven't defended well enough in our own box again, and that's a concern. And I've got to try and look to maybe try and bring 1 or 2 players in that are going to go and defend properly, and make sure that when the ball does come in the box, we clear our lines and head our lines, and make sure that we clear it with a distance, and make sure we're not giving silly goals away. Because if we go back now the whole of the season, we could probably look at the 20 goals or something we've conceded. I would say 15 have been from areas where we should be defending better.
Haven't seen the other results yet tonight, Ian, but I'd imagine we probably slipped down the table a little bit more. We went into this game the only side to have lost the last 3 games. It's nice to stop that run, but next week against Bognor Regis Town, it's about time we went back to winning ways.
Well, it'd be nice, but as I said before, this league, you don't get nothing in this league for underachieving and underestimating teams. Bognor have come up, they had a great start. They've got a really good side when they get a full side out. I spoke to Jack on numerous occasions this year. And if we approach it in the wrong mind, we'll be on the end of a defeat, and that's the one thing that we have to try and teach these players. Every single game has to be approached correctly, and it's my job and Lee's job, and we have to go and make sure that they look at this mentality that they've got to go and work and work and work. Because if they do that, then they'll win games. If we go out with the mentality we can just go out and play football from the first whistle, and we haven't got to do the ugly side of the game, we haven't got to work hard, then we'll be on the end of defeat after defeat after defeat, because the quality will come through if we work hard, and that's what we have to keep going and do. We have to keep working hard in training, but I still think I need to bring 1 or 2 more experienced people in that are going to give us a little bit of a platform to go and build from, because I do, and I said it again, is the front 4, 5 or 6 here are as good as anything in this league, but we have to defend properly in the first place to make sure we keep clean sheets.
We know Harold Joseph and Tom Gardner are a little way off being fit, I would imagine. Sean Lucian, more chance for next week?
Hopefully so. I mean, we know we need to have a look at it. It's a really bad dead leg, which he's still struggling with. He can't fully extend it in terms of movement. So I've got to speak to him now. I've got to speak to the physios, because we need an intense week of physiotherapy for himself. We need to make sure that he is fit for next Saturday, because bringing him in today would have been a good asset for that. Because his quality in and around the box might have gone and obviously caused them a few problems, but. Again, we have to take it on the chin. We know we went with a smaller squad this year, hoping we wouldn't get any injuries. Unfortunately, we've been decimated in terms of injuries. But the squad's been great again today. I'm not going to moan about that. I knew what I was doing when I went with a smaller squad. But we have to just pick ourselves up. We go again. But it was nice to stop the rot. But it hasn't been a rot, because I don't think we played actually poorly. And Hampton well in, and and Dartford were going to be 3 tough games coming here. Today's been tough, and I would say, and I say it again, and I'll say it again, we had probably 1.5 hour at Braintree where we were poor. The rest of the games we've done okay. We've worked extremely hard. Just got to learn how to sometimes win games and win games ugly.
Lovely, thanks so much, Ian. So it's ended today 3-3 down at Chippenham Town. Entertaining game for the crowd that was here, and we're Saints next in action at Clarence Park when we're at home to Bognor Regis Town. National League South. Kick-off 3 p.m.